Now we'll throw it over to Kyndall, where we have Jensen live in the studio to talk about America's safety. Kyndall?
All right, thanks, Sid. I'm here with Dr. Jensen, who is the director for the Center of Intelligence and Security Studies. And we just want more information about where America stands at this point. So my first question for you is, what is the threat of Al-Qaeda now that their leader is dead?
Well, I think that if you listen to what the administration is saying, that we are probably at a somewhat heightened risk for retaliatory strikes and that sort of thing. Although, keep in mind, really, Al-Qaeda has never stopped trying to attack the U.S. There have been several plots over the last several years that have been broken up by the FBI and law enforcement in terms of attempts here in the U.S.
So do you believe that us here in the United States, should we remain on high alert, or should there be an elevated, elevated feeling here in the United States?
I don't know that we should necessarily have an elevated feeling. I think it's always a good idea to have good situational awareness, what's going on around us, not only for terrorism, but just in general, to be aware of what's happening. As I said, I think that the risk is somewhat higher, but again, I don't think this is a time to be particularly worried, any more so than usual.
Okay, so what does bin Laden's death mean for America and its wars in the Middle East?
Well, I think obviously it was a great victory for America. I think it was a very brave strike, sending in troops as opposed to using drones and that sort of a thing. Really, though, operationally for Al-Qaeda, I don't know that we're going to see a big difference. The Al-Qaeda of today is much different than the Al-Qaeda of 2001. Back then, bin Laden had a lot of operational control. Today, it's a much more decentralized organization. It relies more on the internet. It relies more on trying to radicalize what they call homegrown terrorists here in the United States. So operationally, I don't know that it's going to make a whole big difference. I think certainly symbolically, it's a huge victory.
All right. So what do you think the United States' next move should be?
Well, I think we should continue on doing what we're doing. I think this raid showed how intelligence works well with military. There's no one answer to terrorism. It's a very broad problem that really cuts across a lot of different domains. It has a law enforcement component to it. It has a military component to it, certainly an intelligence component. But it also has a component of state building. People when they get angry, they'll lash out and that sort of a thing. So I think we have to look not only at what we do militarily and law enforcement, but basic human rights, civil rights of people. I think all of that is significant and important.
Well, this past weekend was definitely a great day for the United States and this war in the Middle East. And thank you, Dr. Jensen, for coming to talk to us.
Thank you, Kyndall.
Throw it back to Sid with more news. Thanks.